I feel that there's a lot of confusion in the Gaudiya Vaishnava world about whether or not we can take bath in Radhakund. If one is in the line of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, then there's no confusion, because there's one instruction for all of us. Do not take bath physically in Radhakund. That is the instruction we must follow. This is confirmed by Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada and Srila Sridhar Goswami Maharaj. In the 9th verse of his Upadeshamrita, Srila Rupa Goswami states, Mathura is superior to Vaikuntha, the Lord's eternal transcendental abode, because the Lord appeared there and the pastimes there are more variegated. In Vrindavan, there is free love, and Krishna is more playful, freely mixing. The 12 forests of Vrindavan are superior because of the pastimes of Krishna in those forests. Superior to these forests is Govardhan Hill, because of Krishna's special pastimes there. There at Govardhan, Krishna also tends cows and secretly rendezvous with Srimati Radharani for loving pastime. And Radhakund, at the foot of Govardhan, is superior to all. Here, love of Krishna overflows, due to the many loving pastimes of Radha and Krishna, where only members of Radharani's inner circle are allowed. As Radha is Krishna's dearest, so also her Kunda is most dear to Lord Krishna. In the 11th verse of his Upadeshamrita, Srila Rupa Goswami says that even bathing once in Radhakund will bring pure love of Krishna. The question then arises, am I qualified to take bath in Radhakund? Our Prayojan Acharya, Srila Raghunath Das Goswami, enunciated eloquently the glories of Radha Dashyam in his Vilap Kushamanjali and in other writings of his. However, even though he felt such an attraction for Madhurya Ras, he said, I tend toward the lower service. It is a safer position. This should be our attitude, that we're not fit to try to push our way into the higher Leela. Pujara Ragapatava Gaurava Bhange. Our Guru Maharaj Srila Prabhupada, he heard that his disciples were running and jumping into Radhakund. He says, you're kicking on the face of Radharani. So he forbid his disciples henceforward to go to take a bath in Radhakund.
There is no difference between Radhakunda and Radharani. How you can jump over Radhakunda and Radharani, not different. How you can enjoy Radhakunda by swimming. You cannot touch with your feet in Radhakunda. You can take little water and keep it on the head. That is respectful to Radharani. Of course, things are going on like that. But strictly speaking, Radhakunda should be respected as Radharani herself. That is Radhakunda consciousness.
In general, it is advised that we take bath in Radhakund. However, we have to give proper regard and respect. Otherwise, we may make an offense. Srila Sridhar Maharaj speaks on this. He says that we should just place a few drops on our head and don't dive into Radhakund.
And that should be revered as the liquefied, Radharani liquefied in the form of a liquid. Such respect should be given to that Kunda. So, because people have no sufficient regard of service, so our Guru Maharaj asked not to take a bath within the tank, but only few drops to put on the head, the Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur. But in general, it has been asked if anyone takes bath there, then he will improve he can improve his devotional quality very much. But that must be treated with proper care and regard and devotion. Otherwise, the offense will be committed. Will commit offense, crime. So, to say that our Guru Maharaj told, don't dive and try to take advantage of a bath. No. A drop or two put on your head. The rag, that is the loving regard, is very, very precious. It is not available anywhere and everywhere, not so cheap. It is the highest thing, highest wealth of our soul, which can attract Krishna to our soul. So it is of very, very highest value, this rag, the love for Krishna. Not so cheap that you would think, I have got that, I can take bath and regard for you, and then I will get much devotion. Don't venture. First try to understand what this raga. And when you get raga, then you can play there. You can play, swim and play. But you must have that attitude, 100%, about the divinity of Radha Govinda. Otherwise, if you think it mundane, because the people, the Gaudiya Vaishnava, the imitationists, they think they are already practicing that, they are in a position to swim and play, but that is destroying the real quality of the creed and the best of the Gaudiya Vaishnava society. Those Gaudiyas, imitationists, it is not so cheap. So, outer practices of those higher things that has been discouraged by our Guru Maharaj in the strongest term.
Srila Sri Radha Maharaj said that the conclusion is that everything goes to the highest point, the ideal, that we have to respect the spiritual nature of Radhakund. It is not the form of the practices, it is the ultimate goal. What is the purpose? Who are we pleasing? Who are we offering the service to? It is not for ourselves that we do this. This is a spiritual activity. So it has to be viewed in that way, giving the proper respect. That must be the first condition. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta writes in his Upadeshamrita Bhashya for the 11th verse, he writes, when will Shri Varshavanavi make this servant of her beloved, Daita Das, her own, and allow him to bathe on the banks of Radhakund? So this was the mood of Srila Bhaktisiddhanta, always so respectful, always so much honoring the position, the penultimate position of Srimati Radharani. Since we find that the most important personalities in our spiritual quest, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Prabhupada, Srila Bhaktivedanta Prabhupada, and Srila Sridhar Goswami, have all forbidden us to take bath in Radhakund, we must follow this instruction. Our dear godbrother, Srila Bhakti Gaurav Narasimha Maharaj, he takes these instructions on his head, and he always very respectfully approached these holy places. And he would just take a few drops of Radhakund on his head. And that way he honored Sri Radhakund. Some 30 years ago, a godbrother of mine invited me to attend the observance of the appearance of Radhakund. At that time, there were hundreds of Brajavasis all taking bath in Radhakund. I took the instructions of my gurus on my head, and oddly enough, I was the only one there who didn't take bath in Radhakund. We must show respect for the higher personalities, the ideals, and the service. Otherwise, the guardians of that realm will not be happy with us. And in the future, we will be blocked from entrance there. And how will we receive the ultimate goal of life, Prema Pumartha Mahan, pure love of Krishna?